Originally, the first year people didn't know what frozen custard was, but it grew.
Gradually, we really got a following, and people started asking, are there any other restaurants like this?
I could see that obviously this thing was going somewhere.
You don't get a lot of chances like that in your life. Something new, something that you really think is special, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of the beginning.
ButterBurgers, frozen custard, how can you possibly go wrong?
Just because you put the Culver's name out front doesn't guarantee success.
It's not a given that you're going to have awesome culture. It had to start somewhere. And it definitely started in that little Sauk store back in 1984. Craig and Lee and George and Ruth, that was them making that happen.
Hey, Bill. How are ya? Lois changed her mind. She didn't get her single cheeseburger. Good morning. How are ya? Here you are, Cheryl. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I hope that eye gets better. And there you are.
Thank you very much.
Hold it just like that. Take care. All right. See you, Cheryl. The story I tell is I went to school at UW Oshkosh, and there's a little custard place there, a little drive-in called Leon's Frozen Custard. And whenever I had a chance when I was going to school, I'd run over to Leon's and get a vanilla custard cone. And that was really the inspiration. The ButterBurger, we had the name, but I didn't know how we were going to make it. Somehow or another, I concocted, well, let's scoop up, using an ice cream scoop, the bulk meat, and we'd put that fresh meat on the grill, and we'd take our spatula and press it down into a hot grill. And we got that searing action on the burger. We buttered the bun and grilled the bun. That's when the ButterBurger really became the ButterBurger.
Alrighty, this is the deluxe ButterBurger right here. And my goodness, it doesn't look much better than that. All right, I'm gonna have to kind of finagle my way in to take a big bite.
The first couple days were busy, like every new restaurant opens, and then it died off. To get our guests to drive into Culver's, frozen custard and ButterBurgers, what is that, was difficult. And a lot of days we watched cars going across the street and right past our driveway.
Well, I never doubted it going in. 6 months into it, I doubted it, though. I had my doubts. And when my father is constantly on my back saying, you got to get labor down. Our payroll's too high and can't make the bills and stuff. Oh, man, what are we going to do? But even though he was on my back, he was still there for me as well. And so was Lee, and so was my mother.
Ruth was, she loved life. She loved people. People loved her. She had a certain charisma about her, an attraction that made her approachable, easy to be around. She loved to laugh, and when she laughed, her shoulders shook. And she is always and will always be thought of as the queen of hospitality.
I actually got to work with Grandma at the restaurant for a while because I started when I was 12. I learned the counter. I learned how to do set that summer. I dropped my first tray that summer.
Grandma just taught us to care about other people and to bring them into our lives and make them feel loved.
What's our big factor? What's our wow factor that we have that other brands that have a drive-thru and they serve burgers and all this that guests don't get there? And to me, that's hospitality. And clearly that started way back in the day with Ruth and then Lee, like out in the dining room, getting to know those guests.
We just knew that we had to take care of our guests and make sure they were happy each and every time. And that's just how we did things. And so we refilled coffees, and that stays today. And we took orders out to the tables. So we came up with this system. We took little styrofoam cups, and we turned them upside down, and we wrote numbers on them. Eventually, we said we got to do something else about that, and that's how the little table tents came about.
Lee and Ruth would be up front here, running the counter, running the front area. I'm in the middle area, running the grill area, and Dad would help out there occasionally, but Dad was in the prep area. I always think of Dad as the risk taker, the entrepreneur, the guy that put all his marbles on the table, and, if you don't make it, ooh.
George he was a smart man. His role at Culver's was taking care of the back of the house, doing all the prep work. And he'd be there early in the morning making the soups. Chili, all the chili was made. It's his recipe, and it's still called George's Chili. He counted the deposits and made sure we had enough change and paid the bills. You know, our filing system wasn't very good at that time, but it was always taken care of.
We worked out all right, haven't we?
I did the talking then.
Yeah, well, I done the work.
Every place that we had, we always attached our name to it. Whether it was the early A&W, it was Culver's A&W. It was Culver's Farm Kitchen Resort. It was the Culver's Ritz. So it was, you know, when we finally opened Culver's, it was Culver's. This is our first stoplight in town right here. That was a big deal when you got a stoplight in your community.
This is where our first Culver's was. This is where our family has grown up. This community, there's something special about it.
It's the residents of Sauk Prairie that really supported us in those early years and got us over the hump.
Gradually, the business grew. You know, friends told their friends, and people started coming out of town. And in the summertime, there got to be a lot of traffic between the Dells and Madison. Chicago people started coming up, and people started asking, are there any other restaurants like this? You know, is there any other place I can go and stop at Culver's?
If we were going to be successful, it needed to be the same ButterBurger everywhere. The Frozen Custard needed to be awesome. That really set our standard right away as incoming franchisees. We just learned from them, and we knew this was the way it was going to be.
It was George Culver who said we're never going to compromise on the quality of our products, and that exists today. Operationally, it's more of a challenge, but you know what? It makes a difference, and it makes a difference for our guests, and that's what makes us special.
Yeah, it's delicious.
When pricing goes up on beef or dairy products, we could tweak the ButterBurger and cheapen it a little bit to get to the bottom line easier. We could tweak the custard. I could take some of that butter fat out of it, but it'll happen again. If I do it once, I'll do it again. Every time pricing goes up or whatever, we'll tweak it one more time. Won't do that.
Perfect custard every time, no exceptions.
Well, one of the things about custard is it takes science and it takes artistry as well. It's not like you just turn a machine on and you go. It's more than that. There's really has to be somebody manning that custard machine to make sure it's coming out at the right temperature, the right firmness, and the right taste. It takes people to do that.
You gotta give it a lot of love.
You know, our mission statement is really a simple one. We genuinely care, so every guest who chooses Culver's leaves happy.
When I hear, oh, what is this place? I've never been here. I try to pay attention to their first bites, and it's fun watching their face because they're like, you know, they'll bite into a burger, and I call it the ButterBurger effect because they're literally like looking around, like, you know, so it's fun to watch.
A lot of people who come through the drive-thru, they don't know that everything is made fresh. They just kind of assume it's like every other like chain restaurant, and it's not.
So if someone's like, I've never been here before, I instantly just go grab a blue spoon and hand it off at the counter, and it's like, whoa, this is really good.
I like to do this thing where I walk by with multiple custards, and they see me, they're looking at it, and I look at them for like a second, and I pass them on purpose, and the way they look at me walking away is hilarious, and I turn around, I'm like, I'm just kidding, it's for you.
Hospitality is something that comes right from here, from your heart. Please and thank you, and my pleasure, and it's genuine.
Greeting every guest that we can that walks through the door, thanking every guest that leaves. Same thing at the drive-through window. Just because you're, maybe in a hurry and can't enjoy your food here, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't receive the same service at the window. It means going and checking on our guests. Everything turn out okay? Can we improve anything? Can we get you something? Just having a conversation with somebody that comes in 3-4 times a week.
You know, if you can teach that, if we can instill that in people while they're in our restaurant, that it will go beyond the four walls and beyond our parking lot, and it'll go into the community, and life would be so much better if everyone took care of each other.
Today we talk about people being so important. We were thinking like that back in 1992. People were huge to us back then. We didn't have it in a manual, we didn't have it in a training class. but people were everything to us back then.
Working in a restaurant really is, to me, one of the greatest opportunities to serve other people, and ultimately that is what I believe we are here to do, is to serve others and to care for others and make this world as best a place that we can while we're here.
It's more than just operating within the four walls of the restaurant. You're operating in a community.
We are there to be a positive influence on the community. That's part of our mission as being a Culver's.
I just can't imagine not giving back. And I think with Culver's and the founders, that has been set in stone for us from the beginning.
I think we all came to realize that the people in our community were taking care of us. And so if they have a special cause, let's give back to them.
I feel really proud that our local Culver's does that, and so many other stores help people in need. And when I see those stories on the news, like if it's a big story, it makes me cry because you're overwhelmed with pride. Yeah.
Culver's isn't just for today, the community isn't just for today. How can we help take care of it so that it thrives in the future?
Over the years, we've become strong partners with the egg industry, not only in Wisconsin, but throughout the United States. Where would we be without those hardworking people? I don't know. It's important, I think, to let people know where their food comes from.
We can't do what we do without the farmers that we have. So I think showing our appreciation to those farmers as far as what they do day in and day out is very important. And just bringing awareness to agriculture and trying to promote that and bring it to light.
I've said this so often, we have the opportunity to change somebody's day just by a smile, just by being nice. And it seems a big deal, but it is a big deal. It really is.
It's a big deal. Agreed.
It's awesome to see what a family Culver's is for so many people. And I think that franchisees have a really cool opportunity because each of their stores are their own, and they have that opportunity to build a family and grow their people.
My two daughters, they can't wait until they turn 15 because they want to work here. They see their dad that I work in a great company that takes care so much to their team members, managers, and guests. That means everything.
My son actually, they had a career day and they said, pick your dream job, dress up, fireman, astronaut, whatever you want. So on career day, he went to school dressed just like me.
When I say we're a family-owned business, I mean just that. And that's the magic of owner-operators in their restaurants running their business versus just investors.
It goes back to the Culver family and what they created when they opened that very first Culver's restaurant. That's who they were. They were owner-operators. And it was them making the difference that truly made that very first restaurant a success. And I think they learned from that experience that if they were ever to franchise, owner-operators wouldn't be just an option, it would be a requirement. When you're in the restaurant, working side by side with your team, delighting your guests, it makes a difference. When I tell people I work at Culver's and their face lights up and say, oh, I love Culver's, I never get tired of hearing that. And they may talk about a great menu item that they have that they love. Certainly I love hearing that, but I really get a kick when they say, where do you get your people? Your people are just awesome. That's when I get excited, and just makes me proud. Makes me proud.
I still believe people, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, still, I hope anyway, want to see a smiling face and somebody saying thank you, can I help you please, or can I do whatever for you? I sure hope that doesn't change, because that's who I always want Culver's to be. That's who we are. That's what has brought us to this point, I believe. You can say all you want about the different age groups. I believe everybody wants to be treated nicely. I do. And I just don't think that's going to change. That's something I want to hold on as strong as we possibly can.